Welcome along, everybody. We are here in Canada, of all places, for round 8 of Bronze Season 10. Then looking forward to getting this one underway. I am absolutely knackered. as my voice will probably give out during this first lap of qualifying. But we're here then in the nice and sunny Montreal at the moment then for qualifying. Good evening then from Serious Mushroom. Good luck everyone from Styles as well then. Mushroom for pole, but Mushroom's lost his car keys already then. Fantastic. In the pit lane, I should say. Goodness me, I'm already flustered. There we are then. We have got ourselves onto the circuit. There's a McLaren speeding down that pit lane. We've got a Mercedes out on track. That is Goddard's then in the Mercedes then returning back then after missing out last week as well then in Spain. And we'll run through the championship order then from Spain as well then. 7 rounds completed, then round 8 underway here tonight then. Dynamo Dan leads the way by 1 point then with 109 points then in the Drivers' Championship. Then Reflection then 108 points in the Aston Martin then, so only 1 point separating the top 2 then heading into Canada tonight. Then we'll find out then if that's going to change as we head into the final round then of the season. Final round of the season, could have been the 8th round of the season. Wow, I'm well ahead of myself there. Then Smithy Almighty then in P2 with 101 points and only 8 points in separating the top 3 then in the Drivers' Championship for bronze. It is absolutely fantastic. Hungry Styles in P4 with 90 points and he's not too far away then. And then we've got Rosa Sky then, unfortunately not racing tonight, sorry. Then he is in P5 then on 87. Rocket Lee then in P6 then in the Aston Martin, and a fantastic performance in the previous round as well then, so hopefully Rocket Lee can carry on that form. Serious Mushroom in P7, then we've got Stephen Anthony in P8, then Mr. Elite P9 and San rounding off the top 10 for the Drivers' Championship. Then in the Constructors, Aston Martin lead the way with 193 points. Then fantastic stuff indeed then from both Rocket Lee and Reflection, then who've been on storming form then in the opening third of the season. We're heading into the second third now, aren't they? The second sector as well then for bronze. Williams then in P2 with 160 points and 33 points off the top spot then, and Ferrari in P3 with 146 points as well. Well, there we go. That's a brief rundown then of your championship order then for bronze. Then at the very top of the order then, let's see what's going to be shaken up then in bronze tonight then here in Canada. And of course it's a bit of a treacherous track then, especially in terms of track limits, isn't it? So we will wait and see how it is going to unfold here then in front of our very eyes as well then, because I don't want to, says Mushroom then. Good stuff indeed. Promising stuff indeed from Mushroom then. He is unfortunately not going to be putting himself out on the track then, so we don't get to view his lovely helmet. But there we go then, as we go into the finish of the first lap, I should say then, for Goddard's then a 12.0 to set ourselves underway here in qualifying for the Mercedes driver. Then good stuff indeed. We've got a kick salver then of Chlorine Pilot, then he's coming across the line. He's done a 10.4 then for the kick salver machine, of course reserving in, well, both kick salvers unfortunately not scoring tonight, as both of them are filled with reserves then in terms of Chlorine Pilot, then carry on pole position there, and of course Housey as well then, who stepped in then as well for the green machines. We also have one more reserve as well, and that is Stead, who has jumped into the racing ball then in place of Jake the Slayer then, because unfortunately Jake the Slayer has had a loss in the family, so hopefully he is a-okay then, and everyone in the family is all good there as well then. Evening Alex as well then from Kamara Racers then. Hello all racers and good luck to bronze as well then. Thank you very much Kamara then for the €5 donation. That's very much appreciated of course as well. And yes, we greatly admire your support then as well then. And well, fantastic. As we head into the next half of qualifying, or the next third of qualifying as well, then we've still got 14 minutes to go. Then we started a bit early then, and it's caught me out already then, as Mr. Elite then is up into P2 with 11.3 and is almost 9/10 of a second behind the current pole sitter and the Chlorine Pilot then, who's looking quite comfortable out there. But of course we might see sometimes tumbling in with the likes of the Aston Martins and Ballot then in P4, Vintage up into P5 with a 12.0, just 2 thousandths ahead of Goddard's as it stands. Lynn then going again, then heading in towards the final chicane, then making sure you avoid that wall of champions. Oh, what did I clouted it then on the exit then. Oh dear, someone clouted it in the background there as well. And goodness me, Liam then improves to 11.9, puts himself ahead of his teammate then into P5. Very good stuff indeed. as I've said that. Then we've had Hungry Styles jump up to P2, and I was just trying to figure out who it was there, but Styles then, I think we saw Styles had a bit of a clout with the Wall of Champions, and on the exit of that final chicane then, but kept it valid, then kept it up to the line then, and got himself a 10.7, and that is pretty good stuff indeed. On the front row is Styles then, looking fantastic then in the last few races as well. Then let's see if he can do some master stroke here in Montreal, as DeCanco goes up to P5, then DeCanco with 11.4, then looking to get his season kick started really there. Unfortunately for DeCanco, then not had the best of luck. Then hopefully this can be the turning point then for the Red Bull driver. Then Marvsky with 11.7 puts himself P7 for the time being. Instead on the medium compound tyres, done a 16.1, then maybe just getting his eye in then for the Racing Bull team. Real Ashton has jumped up to an 11.6, then right behind his teammate then, so it's an all Red Bull third row as it stands, but of course there's still time for that to change. But Real Ashton then looking very real indeed, then looking really strong, I should say, really fast, I should say, then in this first part of qualifying as well. And good stuff from Real Ashton, and who's kept up that point scoring form then in the opening stages of this season as well. Then fantastic stuff indeed. Howsey said, evening fellas, well then good luck lads, and keep a drink nearby. Then it's going to get very hot indeed, isn't it? Well, it already is, and I'm already starting to perspire then as profusely as Sean would be if he was just standing there in an ice bath. But there we go then, as there we are then, as no, you will not have the drink, says Mushroom then, so never mind, we don't get any drinks then until the race is done there. Good stuff indeed. I think, to be fair, most of the drivers then, when they do have a drink, it's already pretty hot stuff anyway, isn't it, when they've been boiling it around this sort of circuit then for quite a few laps. Then it just tends to overheat, doesn't it, and doesn't taste that nice, I'd imagine, just boiling water that you're drinking as you're going around this circuit at maximum speed. But there we go, nonetheless, then thankfully we're not realistically doing that, so for the time being, that is. Dynamo Dan has done a 10.8, puts himself P3. The championship leader then needs to try and keep his eye on Reflection, and he needs to keep his eye on Smithy as well then, as well, neither Reflection or Smithy have set a time just yet. So there we go then. And Rocket Lee, of course. Hungry Styles as well then is in with a shout as well, getting himself into the top 3 places of bronze. It's quite close, and in the top 6-7 I think there is in bronze as well overall, as Reflection does a 10.3, puts himself on pole position for now, as we've got a few minutes left, 10 minutes left of qualifying to be exact, as Reflection then back on pole position then, where he was he was very closely pipped to it, wasn't he, by his teammate in Spain last week as well. Then it was very close indeed between the Aston Martin pair. Then Reflection won out then in the end of the race. No, it wasn't, it was Rocket Lee, sorry, this man here then, who won out in the end, I should say, and very well deserved as well then. But both Reflection and Rocket Lee have been fantastic in terms of putting on the pace then in both quali and races in the first 7 rounds of the season. Let's see what they can do here tonight. Then Reflection looking to carry on the form. Then Rocket Lee then is just cruising around on that outlap then, so we'll come back to him. Stead starting off another lap then on medium compound tyres. I think he might be doing a bit of a tyre testing phase in this qualifying session so far for Stead. Goddard's then up to the line. What can Goddard's do? It's P13, 11.7, and it's mighty close there as well. Then only 3/10 separates Goddard's from the top 7, top 6 there, and that is pretty impressive stuff indeed from bronze. And of course it's a shorter circuit then, but making sure you get it right then around here can be the difficult part as well then. Mr. Lee jumps up to P3 and gets himself onto the second row of the grid with a 10.7, then ahead of championship leader Dynamo Dan and championship challenger then Hungry Styles as well then. So Mr. Elite looking pretty fiery then here in Montreal as well, as we go through then into the first sector. Then of course he has finished his lap, then he's just cruising himself back to the pit lane as we go through then into the last knockings of qualifying. Then only a few more attempts I think to go then. Vintage has not got much battery to play with. He's coming back into the pit, then he's P9 for the time being, and that is pretty good stuff indeed from Vintage, I think, there as well. He's looking very comfortable in that Haas here in Canada. Ballot then back out on circuit as well, then going through sector 1, then he's got 11.7 to beat then as he goes down through turn 3 and 4, clipping the wall, then almost on the exit then as we go through into sector 2 next. He is not improving in the first sector, but only just then, as there's time to find then in the second sector and the third sector as well. There's actually 3 sectors around this circuit, if you didn't know that. But there you go, you learn something new every day. Then Rocket 109 says Stephen Anthony. Then Stephen Anthony is not going to be correct on this occasion. Then Rocket has had an issue somewhere and invalidated his time. But here comes Smith the Almighty. Then P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Then where is he going to be on his first outing? It's P6 with a 10.8 then for the Ferrari driver. Then good stuff indeed. And we'll come back to that. We'll come back to Rocket Lee then, because he's going to get himself back in the box then to go again then on another attempt. Then here comes Ballot looking to improve on P12 as we head into the final chicane, then making sure that Wall of Champions is not claiming another victim, and he has kept it out of that Wall of Champions then very nicely indeed. And up to the line then Ballot then goes P7 with 11.3 and gets himself ahead of Stephen Anthony for the time being as well then. Kiki said good luck bronze as well then. I think Kiki's actually just sitting in an HGV somewhere then starting to or learning how to drive an HGV or something like that. He's just, yeah, maybe he's doing something even. Oh dear, Styles has got himself pole position, and I missed it because I was rambling on about Kiki. But there we go. There's Styles then onto pole position, and just momentarily then, because Chlorine Pilot has found another 0.3 of a second to get himself on a 10.1 and back on that top step then for 7 minutes left of qualifying then. But Chlorine Pilot then, Styles then battling out there. I think Reflection is going to be into the shout as well. Then Dynamo Dan needs to find a few chances there to try and get himself into the mix as well here in the final knockings of qualifying. Oh my. And I shouldn't have had fish and chips for dinner because it's coming back up, and I don't want to have any technical difficulties in terms of, as Rocket leads then rocket up to P3 then ahead of his teammate there into the second row of the grid then. So both Aston Martins currently knocking out the second row. Geez, Kiki will jackknife an HGV, says Mushroom, and goodness me. Well, we'll have to wait and see the clip then, won't we? But at the moment, he's hopefully a bit safer than that. But anyway, Rocket Lee then has got himself up into a P3 then on his first proper attempt as well then after the invalidation on the previous lap then. So he's still in contention, I should say, then for this pole position then. Chlorine Pilot coming back into the pit then. Hungry Styles also in the pits as well then. Reflection is back out on circuit as well and heading into the hairpin now then of Sector 2. Yes, he's done it very nicely indeed. Good stuff indeed as well. Then on the power then as early as you can then without spinning up those rear tyres then, and now onto the back straight with some DRS to play with as well. Of course, there's only well, there is 2 detection points really, isn't there? But there is 3 activation points then, of course, along through the race as well. As here comes Reflection then, can he find some time then? Can he get himself off P4 then and up into the order? Then it's P2 with a 10.1 as well. Then he is only, what is that, 16 thousandths of a second away from that pole position as well then for Reflection. Then he is in the mix as well then with the next few minutes of qualifying to decide the order. 5 minutes to go here in Canada then to sort out the grid. But so far, Reflection then has definitely thrown his name into the mix then with that time. I would have to say then, can he find a few thousandths of a second then to get that pole position then here in Montreal? Then we'll find out in the next few minutes as well. Then San up into P6 here then has got himself a good time on the board. Then he's lost a bit of front wing, I think, there though, on that right end plate for the McLaren there, but hopefully that's no damage done. Then Dynamo Dan is coming through then into the pits because he's calling it a day then on that time, and into the box goes the championship leader then P7 currently there as well. Then Smith Almighty breathing down his neck then in P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Stephen Anthony is on circuit, but unfortunately has had an issue somewhere then with the track limits as well there earlier on in the lap. We'll come back to him then. Yellow flags out there for a Mercedes. That's Marvsky then. Marvsky, where is Marvsky going then? Goodness me, where is Marvsky going then? I'm not sure that was very helpful for Housley there, but Housley's managed to crack on then, I think, but he is P17 with a 12.4 at the moment then. I'm not quite sure if that Mercedes might have unsighted him into turn 1 or not, potentially. What do I know? But there we go then, as we go through then into the last knockings then of qualifying. Stead now on the soft compound tyre, so I think he's done a bit of practice runs then on the mediums, and now opting to use those soft compounds then to see what he can do then as he goes through into Sector 3 now. And he's invalidated and he's gone onto the grass a bit there as well then. Goodness me, Winnie and Mushroom are still stuck in the pit lane. My God, they're going to be right at the back of the grid then, of course, with no time on the board. But we'll have to wait and see then if what's going on here. Liam then I don't think is on a lap then. I don't think Ballant is either on the lap as well, so never mind. As we go through then into, where are we going through then? Into the back straight then, and I think Ballant is going for an overtake for some reason. And they have switched places there, but yes, there's no racing going on I don't think. As into the pits comes both of them as well, my goodness me. 3 minutes left of qualifying then, so we're going to get a few more drivers then out on track then in the next few seconds, I would imagine. What is Stead up to then? He's just starting a flying lap then in the Racing Bull. Then let's see, can he improve on that 13.9, which I believe was set on the medium compound tyres as we head through the first sector. Very nicely done down through turn 3 and 4, and now into turn 6 we go then. He has found 0.3 of a second then. That's a good improvement then in the first sector. More time to come then as well in sector 2 as we head into the next chicane. There's plenty of them around here then, and hopefully they don't get in the way too much, just like the groundhogs usually do then in real life F1. Thankfully the groundhogs have not been implemented into F1 25 as far as I'm aware, yes, well, it'll be interesting to see if one pops up then tonight, but I don't think they're going to pop up tonight, thankfully, or hopefully, as it would probably not end well as they do in real life. Then they tend to get a bit squashed, don't they? But here comes, never mind that, here comes Stead then to finish off his final flying lap then in qualifying. Then into the final chicane we go then for the Racing Bull then, very wide then on the exit, then almost into all the champions, then across the line. What's it going to be for Stead? Then it's going to be an 11.9, improves by almost 2 seconds there on his previous time. Good stuff indeed. Having a P17 then. Goddard is back out on circuit as well. Then we've got quite a lot of on-track action now as well. Then as they all peel out of the pit lane. Yellow flag. It's for a kick Sauber. Then that's Hello Housey then, who's had an issue. No, he hasn't. Or has he? I don't think he's got enough time then as Housey. They're all on outlaps now though, to be fair. And I can't see because of the yellow flag in Sector 3. But I can't see a yellow flag in Sector 3. Unless it is that Mercedes then of Goddard's then, who might have had an issue there somewhere in the hairpin. I think it was just maybe cars letting him go through. Because he doesn't look too slow here then as we head down towards that final chicane then for the final time for Goddard's then. Into that final chicane. We flick it in and we flick it out then as we head towards the start-finish line then to finish off qualifying for Goddard's then. What's it going to be? It's going to be an 11.7. Then he puts himself ahead of his teammate then into P15 here. Very good stuff indeed into the points paying positions then. That Alpine's just come out of the pit lane, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there because never mind. I think I got my timing mixed up, haven't I? Because the timing sheets are completely wrong. I can't tell what's going on with the yellow flags as well, to be fair. So there, we'll just crack on. I think everyone's all right. I believe. I hope. Sand's not all right, unfortunately, for Sand, and he's invalidated his time. Then has he got enough time to go back round again then and restart the attempt? We'll have to wait and see who is next across the line. Ballant then finishing off an outlap then to start off the final flying lap then. Mr. Elite he's got 30 seconds to try and get himself to the start finish line. Then I'm not quite sure that's going to be doable then for Mr. Elite. He might have come out a bit too late then. He was the late Alpine out of that pit lane, wasn't he then? So this is going to be touch and go then. I think Stead is retired in the pit lane. He is going to be P17 at best then as well as we head into the final chicane then for Mr. Elite. I think that's qualifying done and dusted. Reflection has gone faster still then with a 10.157. That is 10,000 ahead of Chlorine Pilot then, who might be looking to improve. He can't improve because he's invalidated his time here. Has the kicks out, but then Reflection and holds on to pole position for now. Can Hungry Styles have a say then? No, he can't, unfortunately. He's invalidated as well. Goodness me, there's all sorts of invalidations, and Smithy Almighty slowing down as well here. And wow, having that's qualifying almost done and dusted. And Mr. Elite has got himself underway, to be fair. Well done indeed. That was great timing then from Mr. Elite. He's in a bit of a Ferrari sandwich as it stands then, winning then P7. Dynamo Dan in P8. Then the Championship League then not having a great qualifying at this point. Then Ballant then is also on track as well. Then heading through the final chicane. Then what can Ballant do then up to the line? Then it's going to be P10. Then he stays P10 just behind his teammate, but does improve by almost half a second, let's just say that, as we go through. Then Mr. Elite then is the next driver to cross the line then in anger here. Qualifying everywhere else is done and dusted. Then Reflection holds on to that pole position unless Mr. Elite can find himself, what is that, 0.6 of a second or so then on this flying lap. Then Mr. Elite could take it away from him here, but let's see. Let's have a look then first as we go through the World Champions. I don't want to predict anything too much. Then here comes Mr. Elite then to cross the line to finish off qualifying. What's it going to be? It's he stays P6 unfortunately then for Mr. Elite then, so he does not improve on that final run then for the Alpine machine then. So it's Reflection Reflection on pole position for the Japanese, for the Canadian Grand Prix. I mean, similar flag colours, isn't it? Not quite, but not quite getting the right shapes there. But here we are. The Reflection is on pole position for the Canadian Grand Prix. And well done indeed then for Aston Martin, then row 1 and row 2 for Rocket Lee as well. Then that's looking pretty promising stuff indeed. Then there is the classification then from qualifying. Then what is that then? A tenth of a second separating the top 4 then. Fantastic stuff indeed. And then we've got Smith the Almighty then all the way down to P10 as well then. Only separated by, well, just about 2/10 of a second as well then. Fantastic. There is the rest of the order as well then. Unfortunately for Mushroom then no time on the board then. Winnie did get himself out of the pit lane in the end for P7 here as well. Then good stuff indeed. We'll have a brief word from our lovely sponsors then, and before we get started, we will get a lovely word from our sponsors, and of course get ourselves cracking with the 35 laps of action here in Canada as well. And we are back then, the formation lap soon to get underway then as drivers select their strategies, get their fuel levels set then as we start off for a dry start at least then. But there is a few grey clouds starting to overhang the circuit then. Potentially we might see some weather effects later on in the Grand Prix. We will wait and see then. Kiki's having a break on the hard shoulder. Good stuff indeed. Track limits, final chicane then to Stephen Anthony, then P11 then for Stephen Anthony there as we go through into that formation lap now, then touched the wall then and lost time, says Styles as well then in P4. So this is the way it is then to start off the Grand Prix. Then there might be some moves, there might be some shakes as we go through the 35 laps of racing as well. Then making sure you keep the penalties low and get to that checkered flag is the most important thing, of course. And we have a mix of strategies around the field as well then. So there's a majority then, well, not really a majority actually, is it? It's quite an even split between mediums and hard compound tyres then, not a soft compound tyre in sight then as we start off this Grand Prix then. Hard compound tyres for our pole sitter then, Reflection then choosing to start on the more durable but probably the harder wearing tyre as well then to start off with then, looking to go longer in the first stint then compared to his rivals in the 4 behind him, all on the mediums then. Chlorine Pilot, Rocket Lee, his teammate then Hungry Stars as well then in P4, then Miss Smith the Almighty all on the medium compound tyres. Mr. Elite in the Alpine and hard compound tyres in P6 then. More medium runners then follow him then all the way down to P10 of Ballot then as well. Then Stephen Anthony then Decanco Vintage opting for the hard compound tyres just outside the top 10. Real Ashton also opting for the hards, as is Marsky and Stead as well. Then everybody else opting for the medium compound to start off this Grand Prix. And we will see how it's going to unfold. As Mushroom is very keen to get the overtakes underway already, trying to get himself past Housey into the hairpin there, but not quite, as we go through then into the final chicane then to wrap up the formation lap then and get ourselves underway then for 35 laps of Canadian Grand Prix action here. And like I said, hopefully the weather will hold out then for a nice dry race, and I'm pretty sure the drivers will be hoping more for that as well then, unless there's something wrong with them. But like I said, to be fair, sometimes it's good to have a bit of wet weather racing, goodness me, but I'm not quite sure it'll be the favourite then for us tonight then for bronze, that is anyway. But we'll come on to the grid then to line up then for the 5 red lights and start ourselves underway here in Canada then for round 8 of bronze season 10. And here we go then for those lights. lights as we go through. I need to get the position changes up. Then here we are. Then the 5 red lights are on in Canada. The 5 red lights are off, and away we go. Then it's a good start, I think, from Chlorine Pilot. Then trying to get himself a good start on those medium compact tyres. Going around the outside into turn 1. Can he get the move then on Reflection? Not quite. Then Reflection closes the door then on the advancing kick Sauber. Then as we go through, then a bit of chopping and changing in the back of the order then, but everything seems to be a-okay. Then heading into the first chicane, then we go through, and Reflection then going through, then into sector 1. Then he's going to keep the lead, I should say, goodness me, into the second sector. Then my voice already going, and I'm sorry about this, guys, but hopefully it can hold on for 35 laps, and we'll find out then as we've got a bit more chopping and changing. Then Real Ashton's had an issue then in the background, then he's dropped down to the back of the field on those hard compound tyres, unfortunately then for Real Ashton, which is a big shame indeed. But of course on the hard compound tyres will be going longer in this first stint, we would imagine as well here. Let's see if he can bounce back then into the hairpin. We go down the inside, Chlorine Pilot then diving it down the inside of Reflection, and he's got the move done as well. Then very late on the brakes and on those medium compounds as well. Can Reflection, there's contact in the background there between Mr. Elite and San, heading on to the back straight, goodness me. And no, it's not, it's Dynamo Dan trying to sneak his way through. Then he's going to be boxed in then by the Alpine as we go through then into the final chicane, and San, can he slow the car down just about? And wow, that's epic. Yes, they've all got themselves through unscathed, I think, then in the first lap then, which is good. Oh no, Vintage is in the pit lane. Goodness me, what's happened to Vintage? And Real Ashton's carried on. Then Vintage is in the pits though. What's happened? There's yellow flags out there as well. My goodness me, Ballett's had an issue, I think, as well. Then heading through turn 2, and he's lost out. Then here comes Stead trying to get himself through as well. Oh, that's going to be close indeed. I think Stead then slots in behind just in time there as well. Then goodness me. Vintage then is into the pits, then medium compound tyres I think going on there, so that's going to be a bit of a struggle then to get them into a competitive window again then for Vintage. Then we'll have to wait and see. Then we're not sure what happened to Vintage there, but he maybe chose to pit early there as well. I'm not quite sure, but I don't think it was a choice then. I think it was a necessity then as well. Then potentially we'll have to wait and see after the race there. But here we go then as Rocket Lee locking up the brakes and trying to get himself past his teammate then in the same spot that Chlorine Pilot got himself through on the previous lap. Then heading now onto the back straight, then lap 2, then Reflection still within DRS. Then there's all sorts of chopping and changing with Ballett, and Decanco having a switcheroo in the hairpin as well. Decanco's lost 2 places then down to P14. Ballett's lost 3 places then with that incident then in the first couple of corners then on the previous lap. Then San picks up the first penalty of the evening, but we do expect penalties to be rolling in here tonight then, as it usually is around this circuit. And Rocket Lee takes the fastest down the race. I think he wants to get himself past his teammate to try and challenge Chlorine Pilot for that race lead here, doesn't he? But not quite just yet. Then Reflection holding firm then for that P2 position then, and staying still very close then to the back then of Chlorine Pilot then on medium compound tyres. And Smithy picks up a penalty. Then both Ferraris have picked up a penalty then as we head on to lap 3. Fantastic stuff indeed. It's been action-packed this first couple of laps then as we head on to lap 3 now as well. Then Reflection then doing a good job on those hard compound tyres to stay with. Then we'll switch onto the tyre situation then in just a couple of corners time as we head on to lap 4. We just want to see if there's any more chopping and changing. Then Liam's gained 4 places, then up into P10 then in the Hats. Then the same for Goddard's, then up into P12 for Mercedes. Looking good indeed. Then Mushrooms gained 4 as well. Then from the back of the order then up into P16. Then they're now challenging Stead for that P15 position as well here. As here we go then into the as we've got Mushroom going for the move, then in the hairpin he's got himself through, then up into P15 now. Decanco is next target as well then for the Alpine machine. What are we going to see at the top of the order then as we head through the final chicane? Then here comes Reflection on the charge. He's going to go for the move then in towards turn 1. Liam's got a penalty there as he's got the inside. Then can Chlorine Pilot hold it around the outside? Then he's got the inside now for turn 2, and it's going to be very close indeed between the two of them as we go through, but they have held position for now. Wow, I need to switch onto the tyre situation. I said we were going to do it, but I completely forgot what I was doing there. But there we are then. This is what the tyre situation is for the drivers who started their race as well. Then Vintage unfortunately has had to pit for the medium compound tyres. We've got a yellow flag for San, and San's had an issue. Where's he gone? San's had an issue. Where is he? Everyone's going through in there. San's had an issue then at the, where is that, turn 4 I think then as well. Was there a helping hand for San then? Goodness me, we'll have to find out after the race then. But San then looking to get himself back on the way. Has no damage I don't think there, or has that left end plate gone as well then for San then? That's the bad news indeed. Can he get himself back on the way quickly enough? Then Decanco has been passed by Mushroom, who's on a charge now on those medium compound tyres. Mushroom then up into P13. He's got a bit of a gap though to Goddard's then, who's in P12. He's doing a good job then so far in Goddard's. And he's got DRS as well then on Ballett as well. Then Ballett trying to catch catch up to the top 10 here. Stephen Anthony now all over the back of Liam as we head onto that back straight as well. Then here comes the Williams ahead of us, and then of Dynamo down then as we go through into the chicane. Not quite. Then in the background, the other Williams of Stephen Anthony can't get himself past the Haas as well. Fantastic. Right then, Marvsky picks up a penalty as well then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers with penalties already, unfortunately, in this race then. Sam then has got damage on that left end plate. Then is he coming into the box? Then he is coming into the box now, and we will see what he's going to go on to next. Then Real Ashton picks up a penalty as well. Then my goodness me, penalties are rolling in the deep in Canada as well then tonight and then so far as we crack on then onto lap 5 now. Sand going for the... We've got yellow flags. Then Stead's had an issue, I think. Is it Stead? Stead's had an issue at the same corner then as Sand on the previous lap. Then he's off the circuit at turn 4. If there was a helping hand or not, then we do not know just yet, but we'll find out. But again, I think he has just avoided any issues then with the front wing then for Stead, which is going to be fantastic news indeed. Then of course the long-term pain of a front wing issue then of course, and an extra pit stop then is going to be very costly indeed. But I think he's managed to keep it out of the wall then has Stead, which is fantastic, especially at that part of the circuit as well, because the walls are very, very close indeed. But we are back underway then, out in front then, the gap's still staying the same roughly as well. Then as we go through the reflection, Rocket Lee then have both picked up, no, it's Rocket Lee picking up a penalty. I thought reflection also went wide there as well. Then they thought he had a penalty pop up at the same time, but maybe I was wrong. Marsky's got himself past to Kanko then for P14. Heading into lap 6 now as well. We go through then both the Aston Martins keeping the chlorine pilot, keeping the kick Sauber honest at this point of the race. And Styles then waiting the wings in P4. Smith Hill, Mighty and Winnie then coming with them as well. Then Dynamo down. The championship leader is 2 seconds of drift then of the top 6 now, having battled past Mr. Elite then as well. Then Mr. Elite might look to fight back on his hard compound tyres very soon as well. Then Liam then running in P9. Then Stephen Anthony in P10 at the moment as well here. Wow. Like I said, it's usually an action-packed race in bronze, isn't it? But Canada then has thrown some spice in the mix, of course, especially after what we saw then in gold and silver then on the previous nights as well. Then I'm not sure it'll be any different, of course, in the bronze division as well. Then of course Canada, not everyone's favourite track, I don't think it is it? But it's a track that we have on the calendar for a reason. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't my choice, but there we go. Reflection then looking to take the lead, then back into the lead, I should say. Then as we go through into the final chicane, he has got the move done. He's up into P1, and on we go to lap 7 here. Mr. Elite and Dynamo Down have switched places then into that final chicane, and I think Balance got himself past Liam as well then into that chicane also there. But Liam's got a fantastic drive out of that final corner then. And what's happened then? Styles and Rocket Lee have come together, I think, then, and now there's a Ferrari involved with Winnie as well here. Then heading into turn 3 or 4, or whatever turn it is. Then contact then with Winnie. Then Styles trying to go into the corner. Then Styles has gone off as well. Then what's happened to Styles? And he's into the wall, then he's lost the car, then he's crashed into the wall again, then has Styles, and he just needs to keep his head there. Unfortunately, then it's gone then for Styles then, and needs to get himself back underway then. No, oh dear. And unfortunately, that's going to be an even worse result than for Styles then, because an forced safety car, yeah, whatever. I mean, what can we do? Yeah. And there we are then. So safety car has been deployed then. Reflection, I think it was Chlorine Pilot then potentially who had an issue, because he's now lost quite a lot of time then to Reflection there. And unfortunately Styles out of the Grand Prix then. And well, good news then for San and for Vintage and Stead as well. They can catch up to the back of the queue now once again. But not sure what was going on there. Let's just say that then as we crack on. Into the pits comes Reflection then. So we've only done 7 laps then, but already the hard compound tyres going off that Aston Martin. Rocket Lee, I think, was caught up in that. Winnie, I think, was caught up in it. Winnie has also double stacked as well. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there for well, yes, it's all on Pete's Tom, as they like to say. Mr. Elite has carried on. I mean, he stays in the lead of the Grand Prix now, or takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Then Stephen Anthony up into P2. Reflection, sorry, coming out on these fresh medium compound tyres in P3. And there we are. Yes, so that's... as Vintage has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Goodness me. Not what we want to get under safety car. Then might be wise to go back round again then and pit again then, I should say, to get rid of that penalty. Serious rush about on the hard compound tyres in P14. Then to Kanko medium compounds then for the Red Bull. And yes, everyone basically filtering into the pits because why not? But there we are then. So we crack on then. San and Vintage, like I said, will be able to catch up to the queue now, which will be good news indeed. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what happened there to Styles then, but he then just drove it into the wall, which again, unfortunately, needs to be will have to be reviewed after the Grand Prix as well, because you can't do that sort of thing. It's just. Yeah, but anyway, we'll crack on. We've got only 8 laps completed so far. We've got the first safety car of the evening. It is a safety car friendly circuit, let's just put it that way then around here, but hopefully we see none more of Bird Mylander then after this one. But as we go through, what is going on here? Dynamo Dan has gone past and into P6, so he's got himself past Roy Ashton somewhere there. Not quite sure what's happened there. But yes, anyway, very, very odd that is, but yes, we'll see what's happening next in this race. But yeah, my goodness me. We'll find out then as we go through then into the next part of the safety car period. Then everyone's going to get punched up behind that safety car eventually. And we will crack on. But there we go. Majority then on the hard compound tyres. Now Vintage is in the box then to serve that penalty and get it out of the way, which is I think a very wise decision then from Vintage. Of course, he's done a lot of league racing, so he knows what he's doing then, and I don't have to point it out for him at all. But there we go then, Vintage then into the box then to call it a day, well not call it a day, sorry, to get on those fresh tyres and serve that 10-second penalty, then get it out of the way, because that doesn't want to be, he doesn't want that added onto his race time at the end of the Grand Prix or at his next pit stop, of course, especially then if it's not under a safety car as well then. But we go through then into lap 9. We're going to have about 25 laps of racing, I think, then when the safety car does decide to come in. And it might come in at the end of next lap then as well. So we'll see how it unfolds then as well. Good stuff indeed. But anyway, right then, hopefully Styles is alright then. Not quite sure what happened then, because it looked like there was quite a kerfuffle then between the likes of Winnie, I think it was Chlorine Pilot as well then, potentially Smithy was nearby, Rocket Lee, really not sure what happened there, it was into the first couple of corners, wasn't it, I think, or potentially into turn 3 and 4, but yes, a bit of an odd one that then. We've got 2 drivers who've stayed out then in the top of the order then, Mr. Elite and Stephen Anthony then lead the way, with of course Reflection at Chlorine Pilot, Smithy, Dynamo Dan then on the fresh tyres as well behind them after making their stops. Real Ashton has also carried on his P7, then Rocket Lee then in the Aston Martin P8 now, trying to get himself back through, then Ballot in P9, Liam then in P10, then Goddard's up into P11 as well, then Winnie then down to P12, then I think having to double stack behind his teammate was very costly there indeed. And I think the same for Rocket Lee as well, potentially as well. I think that I think Winnie also might have had some wing damage to try and replace as well. Stead then up into P13, yet to pit in this Grand Prix. So there's the 4 drivers yet to pit then, and that is the top 2, P7 of Real Ashton then, and P13 of Stead at the time for the time being, I should say. Then we expect the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. Then we get ourselves underway. Then 25 laps of action then to unfold in front of our very eyes. Safety car is in this lap. And Styles then is not too happy, I don't think, with something that's gone on in their head then. So unfortunately that is that is put paid to his race, unfortunately, as well then. And this safety car is now appealing away then to get ourselves back underway for some green flag running here in Canada. Hopefully we can crack on with this race as well then. So yeah, there we go then. Like I said, it's a very close proximity circuit, isn't it? And that is the nature of the circuit as well. As we get ourselves restarted then, a good restart from Mr. Elite then, catching everyone napping a bit there slightly, I think, then into the final corner then. And away he goes then to start off lap 11. Then Liam's got a penalty, I think, starting off this second lap then. And Chlorine Pilot is diving down the inside of Reflection there. That's optimistic then. A bit over ambitious then, I think, from Chlorine Pilot. The contact there causing Reflection to half spin as well. Then he's got himself through. But at what cost then as well? Then potentially, well, I don't know whether we'll have to look at that after the race. Then we'll find out. And of course, everyone's got to deal with it after the race. But I have to deal with it after the race, especially, don't I? So there we go. As we heading into Sector 2, then when he is up into P11 now. Sand picks up another penalty, unfortunately for Sand, on his hard compound tyres then as we go through. Then Reflection, Chlorine Pilot on the freshest tyres. Then Stephen Anthony looking to hold on to the back of the Alpine, who's charging on then as Mr. Elite. Looking quite comfortable on those older hard compound tyres. They're not going to be too bad at this stage of the race, I don't imagine. So looking A-OK then to crack on then in this Grand Prix. Then Stephen Anthony then holding on then through the hairpin. 7 tenths behind then Chlorine Pilot then, who was on a mission then into turn 1 then to try and get himself past Reflection. Then he's now going to be under pressure, I think, from Reflection, and making sure he doesn't go into the back of the Williams there as well. Reflection's got a penalty, then going through the final chicane. Then we were on board there with that. I didn't see a thing, just ignore me. But there we go, the DRS now re-enabled as we go through into lap 12. Then Stead's got a penalty as well. Then penalties racking up. Then it's Rocket Lee and Ballot. There's contact between the two of them there, and Rocket Lee off the circuit as well. Then where's he gone? He's just parked up there as well. Rocket needs to get a move on then, and Rocket Lee needs to get a move on there. What's happening to Rocket Lee? What's happening to Rocket Lee then? He's just what's happening to Rocket Lee then? He's just sitting there disqualifying himself. Okay. Oh, maybe he wasn't. I don't know if he couldn't get moving there or what. Of course, if you can't get moving, then you can just reset the track then. But Rocket Lee has given up then. Makes me wonder if I should just do the same, but never mind. I'll crack on for the time being then as we get on with it. Then as two drivers then unfortunately out of this Grand Prix already then on lap 12 as we head through then on to lap 13 momentarily. Then Reflections passing Stephen Anthony then with some DRS. Then Rocket Lee has left the session as well. Then I think Styles has already left the session as well. Then after that big crash causing the safety car as we go through, there's a big jump then. Reflections over the curbs then, and Stephen Anthony might be able to sneak back through them. But where is he? No, he's been passed by Smithy now, who's got himself over to P4 then, now putting the pressure on Reflection as we go into lap 13. My goodness me. And there we go then as we head through then into lap 13. Then we're not even at the halfway point of this Grand Prix then, and we've already had two drivers out of this race then. Winnie and Goddard are battling then into turn 3. Then Winnie is now ahead of the Mercedes driver. And into sector 2 we go momentarily there as well then as we fly through then. Mr. Elite has lost out then to the DRS, I think. Well, has he just got it then as well as we go through? Yes, he has. Stephen Anthony's been passed by his teammate now. Dynamo down then up into P5, then chasing after Smithy and Reflection here as we go through then, and we get ourselves into the depths of this race then, into the heart of this race then. Mr. Elite has been passed by Reflection now. Oh dear, there's contact into the hairpin then. He's broken too late as Mr. Elite then unfortunately gone into the back of that Aston Martin as we go through the hairpin. But unfortunately Reflection has lost out then to the DRS there. He's got a lot of straight line speed though, hasn't he? Look at him fly then. He's almost got himself back in that 1 second window as we head into the final chicane. Then Mr. Elite picks up a penalty then going through that final chicane. Stephen Anthony does the same. Dynamo Dan then is on the charge as well. Then he's got himself back in DRS then of his counterparts. Then Mr. Elite's been passed by Smithy. Or has he? Not quite then. The Smithy then can't get himself past the Alpine just yet then. Or can he now then at the exit of turn 2 then on to turn 3. Then he's going to be side by side almost. Then he stays in behind the Alpine for now. Wow, fantastic stuff indeed then as we go through then into the middle part of the race then. 14 laps then have been completed. And this is it then. This is the way it goes then here in bronze as well then as we go through then. And there we are as we go through into the depths of this race as well then. And yeah, I mean, I have to laugh to be fair at some point. But no, I'm going to go to bed straight after this because I haven't slept yet. But there we are. I have to commentate as well then. So think about that when you start to pit and quit. But there we go as we crack on then into lap 14. Then here comes the Ferrari of Smithy then trying to get himself past that Alpine. He has done. He's got the DRS now open as well then to further cement that P3 position, of course, in the Drivers' Championship as well then as it stands. Here comes Dynamo Dan though. He's charging through then into the final chicane then. Is he going to make that move? Not quite then on Smithy. Then he stays. Well, he gets himself up into P4 I should say then, but he stays behind the Ferrari then. Reflection fastest lap of the Grand Prix there, and he is gaining, he's gaining. There's an incident then for Ballot, then Ballot at the final chicane, then Winnie's off the circuit as well. Where's he gone? He's gone into the pit lane then as Winnie somehow, goodness me. And Ballot has been passed by the Canker there as well. Then Winnie has retired in the pit lane as well. Oh dearie me. Ballot then has got wing damage there as well. So it's not looking good then for Ballot then, unfortunately, as well in this race. As now Liam all over the back of him now. I'm not sure if Liam or anybody behind him realises that Ballot's got wing damage here, then he can't get himself through. Or can he get himself through here? Not quite. Oh my. And it's all anarchy behind as well then instead. Housie, Sana also catching up to this battle here as well then as we head on to lap 15. Then we haven't even got halfway through then, and 3 drivers have given up in this Grand Prix, which is terrible news indeed then. But there we go then. Here comes Liam then on the charge. Marsky then is waiting in the wings on his medium compound tyres as well here, but Ballot then is just holding them up at this point then on his with his wing damage. DeCanker then is up into P9 then as well then, but he hasn't got any problems there, I don't think, for the front of the car. Then Reflection picks up another penalty, then that's going to be costly. It's Reflection in the wall there at the exit of the final chicane then. My goodness me, he is back underway. But what is happening? Let's just say that then. What is happening here in bronze then? We're on to lap 16 then as we go through then. Sam then and Housie are switching places there as well. Then there's another car involved. You can't just weave and do all that then. Liam's had an issue somewhere as well. Then he's dropped down to P16. He's got right end plate, my goodness me, or some sort of end plate, both end plate actually, damage as well. Then Real Ashton then could be able to cruise up onto this battle as well. There's all sorts of carnage going on ahead of him as well here. Sam then has got a penalty as well. Then Sam has passed Vintage then for P12. Vintage under pressure now from Marsky as we go through into sector 2 then, and Housie's waiting in the wings then, both of them, or all of them I should say, that in the points paying positions as it stands then. All the gaps then have started to extend, which is probably a good thing because it was getting into a bit of chaos there, wasn't it? But Dynamo Dan I think is the closest battle on track then, I should say. Well, actually Stead is the closest battle on track then, because Ballot has got that wing damage, hasn't he? So he's not coming to the pits to serve that, service that car I should say. So Ballot then is going to be under a bit of pressure now with everyone who's got their full wings behind him, but I'm not sure that's many of them, to be fair, because I think there's been all sorts of tangles going on behind in this race as well. Then Vintage has been passed by Marsky now as we head onto the back straight. Then Stead can't get himself past Ballot then into the final corner then, picks up a 3-second penalty as we go through. Then here comes Marsky on the charge then, trying to get himself past House's past Vintage, as Vintage had an issue I think at the exit of that final screen, and Liam is into the pits as well then, to call it a day then on his hard compound tyres as well. Then Marsky's got himself past San, and House's got himself past San as well. Then I think San's had an issue then, or is there a connection problem there for San? Then goodness me, Liam has got himself onto a new set of medium compound tyres and back underway with a new nose cone as well. Fantastic. So there we go. Like I said, anarchy then in the it just boiled over a bit, didn't it? There, I'm not quite sure what was going on, to be honest. But yeah, it's a bit odd. But anyway, so there we go. But there we are. We are going through then. Stead now all over the back then of Ballot as we go into the hairpin again, and I think he's got the inside for sure then. But has he got the traction on the exit? Then Ballot then holds on for now then as we go through, but DRS is going to be available then for the Racing Bull driver then now as we head onto that back straight once again. Then here he comes then on the charge, and DeCanker there in the foreground. Then here comes Stead then into the final chicane. He's not close enough then. Ballot's got some good straight line speed I think there, but now can Stead power on then through the final corner then to try and get himself in towards turn 1 then up into P10 here, and we will wait and see there, but not quite then at this point. We'll come back to that one as we go through then. And Reflection is caught up now to the back of Stephen Anthony here as well then. Of course, Stephen Anthony and Mr. Elite did not pit under that first safety car then. Maybe they're holding out for another safety car very soon, and potentially with the way it's going this race, we might get it. So yeah, maybe that's not a bad shout for Mr. Elite then and Stephen Anthony here as well then. My goodness me, as we go through then. And whatever. Just race ban me. I'm no longer bothered to look at you. Positive mental attitude there, guys. Very good stuff indeed then, is all you need to have. Unfortunately, like I said, at least you guys can get points. I mean, could be worse. It could be me in gold. But there we go then. Reflection heading down the back straight then to try and get himself back in this race then after the spin then at the final chicane. Then he's got himself past Stephen Anthony and back up into P5 as well then. We've seen this from Reflection many times before as well, haven't we? Consistent drive then. Let's see, can he get himself back up into a podium place as well then. I think the penalties might start to weigh him down then towards the end of this Grand Prix, but that is the situation we've got there as well then. But there we go, we're cracking on then. P5 now for Reflection then. Stephen Anthony of course on much older hard compound tyres. There we go. And unfortunately, Rocket Lee not very happy with whatever happened then. Caused the disqualification, and I'm not sure if it was beached, to be fair, or if it was just stuck there somewhere. But again, like I said, if you're stuck on the track, then maybe it's just a PSA that we need to do any race, every race. But if you're stuck on the track, then and can't get yourself back on the track, you can reset the track when it's safe to do so, because we don't want people resetting the track then just every time they go off the circuit. But obviously, if you need to reset the track, then you obviously must do, because it's important to get yourself back on the way. But there we go. So there we are. So we head through then into lap 19 then, I think potentially getting to, as we got Housie then passing Stead then into the hairpin. He's got the inside then for the Kick Sauber team up into P11 now as well. Then I think Marsky looking to try and get his nose on there as well. So there we go then. And fantastic stuff indeed then. Well, yeah, unfortunately Rocket Lee said he held the brakes on then. Oh dear, I'm not sure if that was part of the incident or not, but there we go. Then into the pits comes the Kanka, then calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres, and we get ourselves back underway then. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry if you had a bad race. Yeah. I mean, I have bad races every weekend, so it's part of the parcel sometimes, isn't it? At least, like I said, at least there's positives. Then you have got some pace there, Rocket Lee, and of course Hungry Styles and Winnie as well. To be fair, out of the Grand Prix then very early on then for those three drivers. Unfortunately, then would have been good to see what they could do then in this race. Like I said, it's just unfortunate sometimes, isn't it? Especially around this sort of circuit. Canada is not a very friendly circuit then to a barrier, or to a car, I should say, because the barriers are too close, aren't they? Or very close indeed. As we go through, then here comes Smith the Almighty, then trying to get himself into the fight with Chlorine Pilot. Then he's caught up to the DRS zone now as Smithy, and they've gapped Dynamo Dan then by almost 2 seconds, or over 2 seconds, I should say. They're heading into lap 21 now. And there we go then. Listen, I'll be fine soon, just in the moment from it. Yes. Well, to be fair, it happens in the moment, doesn't it? I know. Like I said, I've done league racing for 6 years, to be fair. And I've had that plenty of times in. And Styles had an incident with Chlorine Pilot and gave him front wing damage and yeah, some choice words to be said, to be fair. Yeah, it happens, doesn't it? Oh dear, there's Liam's also bit and quit as he crashed as well. Is it a safety car? It's not in the pit lane, I don't think, is it? Or maybe it is. No, I think it might be at the final corner then for Liam then, who's had an accident there. I think it's a VSC, because everyone has slowed down now. Car has been cleared at least. But yes, my early night then. I was looking forward to jumping into bed, to be fair, after this, but I'll have to. I'll just crack on then, shall I? And unfortunately, I can't pit and quit. It's a shame that, really. It'd be great fun if the commentator could pit and quit. Smithy in the pits as well then as Dynamo Dan then, so they are calling it a day then on the hard compound tyres, and into the pit lane we go then. So we're going to have medium compound tyres going on at the Ferrari, then same for Dynamo Dan then in the Williams. Stephen Anthony is also pitting as well then, as is Mr. Elite Reflection. Then there's all sorts of cars piling into the pit lane. There might be some double stacking going on at Alpine, and not so much then for Russian, which is good stuff indeed. And out of the pits we go then. I think everything will be status quo then. The problem we've got, as DRS has been re-enabled, then we get back out of the pit lane. Then this is making sure everyone's got themselves back on the way with no drive-through penalties then, which is going to be a treacherous stuff around here. Marsky then carries on. What's happened? I thought there was an accident there, but oh my goodness me, God, I was trying to get himself out of the pit lane quickly enough then, but he couldn't get himself ahead of Mr. Real Ashton, I should say. Goodness me. There's too many Misters and Real Ashtons around here. Dukanka then out of the pits as well. Then he's going to be right in front of Stead just about as well. Then Ballet then in P14 has got himself a new front wing, and Sam then has got himself a new front wing as well. I think there as well. Good. So both McLarens are back in the race, or back underway in this race, I should say. Then at least going again. And out of the pit then comes Sam as well then. So 16 seconds the gap then between Smithy Almighty and Chlorine Pilot. Can the Kick Sauber get to the end of the Grand Prix from here then? Both Kick Saubers on the same strategy now. And will Housie do the same as his teammate then, or will he have to box as well? Then we'll find out then as we go through into the latter part of this race. And Stephen Anthony then on his fresh medium compound tyres. No challenge then from the Kick Sauber, unfortunately, there on his older hard compound tyres. Then and Stephen Anthony has powered through. Then Mushroom has powered through on the medium compound as well then for the Alpine machine. Up into P8 now, and very good stuff indeed as well then. I'm not going to curse them, am I? But there's a few drivers out there with no penalties at the moment, and that could be good for them at the end of the race. Let's just say that. As into the final corner we go then. Instead has got himself past Decanco, then Decanco picks up a penalty, then going through that chicane as well, then down to P13, still in the points paying positions though, which is good news indeed. But there we go then. Mushroom now is caught up to Housie as well, then Housie on his older hard compound tyres compared to the fresh mediums. Then I don't think it's going to be much of an outing then, I think, for the fight, that is. But Housie then is going to put up a fight, and of course indeed then to try and hold on to as many points paying positions as he can, which he's entitled to do. He's not being lapped or anything like that as we go through then. 16 seconds has now become 15 and a half then for Smithy, and that gap is coming down pretty quickly then to the race leader. Those medium compound tyres should get to the end of the Grand Prix reasonably comfortably as well, I would imagine, as we go through then. And here comes the serious Mushroom then. Housie gets out of the way then of the Alpine then. Of course, I don't think he wanted to fight this battle then, but if he can hold on to the back of that Alpine, then he could potentially use that DRS then to pull himself along then in this next part of the race then. And if he's trying to extend those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, then this could be fantastic news then, as Marvsky's in the pit then. Marvsky is calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres as well. Into the box we go, and it's another set of medium compound tyres then. 11 laps into the Grand Prix, so much less than he did on that previous stint then. Will be good news indeed, I think, to Marvsky, because I'm not sure he was too fond of those medium compound tyres then towards the end of that stint then. Decanco and Ballant have gone through then for P13 and 12 respectively. Marvsky coming out of the pit lane. Turn 2 is where they exit the pits then. He's going to be behind the McLaren just about then, but of course on much fresher tyres as well then, so we'll wait and see how that battle unfolds then. Housie then just about holding on to the DRS then of Serious Mushroom. Then this is going to be good news for Housie if he can stay within that 1 second window. And there we are then, 13 seconds now then for Smithy Almighty. He is flying out there then in this Grand Prix. Then 10 laps to go then at the end of this one. Then Chlorine Pilot then starts lap 25 of 35 here. And had no warning, says Styles, sorry, as well. Was just following, keeping it clean, and got pleased with another wing damage then, unfortunately for Styles there. Bad news indeed then as well. Yes, but there we go then. As we head through then, we've got Mushroom then into, Real Ashton, sorry, into the pit lane I should say. From the P10 position then. Ballant has passed to Kanko then with some DRS then, and Marvsky is there as well then, looking to try and get himself into the mix then on his fresh medium compound tyres. And heading on to the start-finish straight then. Real Ashton now, medium compound tyres going on that Red Bull then. Out of the pit lane, he will be behind this trio of battling cars then, the Mercedes, McLaren and the Red Bull. Well, I think they've stayed pretty much status quo there as we go through then, as Vintage and Real Ashton going to be very close on the pit exit here. And the Red Bull is ahead then, just about then, heading into the first sector as well. Then good stuff indeed. Real Ashton now fresh tyres then to the end of the Grand Prix then, back underway then. 11.5 seconds the gap then between Smithy Almighty and Chlorine Pilot. Then the gap is coming down very quickly indeed. Then I think it's just about maybe out of reach, unfortunately then, at this rate though. It's 11 seconds now then as we start lap 26 for Smithy. Then we'll have a look what it's going to be like then at the end of lap 26 then for Smithy as he goes through. Chlorine Pilot has picked up a penalty though, and that could be getting worrisome then for the race leader as it stands. Then here comes Smithy and on a charge then. Can he get himself back in contention? Can he get himself another race win then here in Canada then for Ferrari? Then we'll see what he can do. Of course we will see what he can do because we're watching it, but we go through then into the sector 2 of lap 26 now. So the gap was 11.2 seconds then as Smithy crossed the line. Then what's it going to be then as we cross into lap 27 as well? Then we'll find out in just a jiffy. But we want to measure really how quick the gap is closing then between the top two then. And can Smithy get himself into contention for a race winner? Will Chlorine Pilot be able to hold on those old hard compound tyres? He's going to have to do another 9 laps on those hard compound tyres to get him to the end of the Grand Prix, which will be a fantastic stint indeed. And he is carrying on again then, to be fair. There we go then. Yeah, I read it, Styles. Unfortunately, I can't read it out. So that's the problem there as we go through then into the final couple of corners then for Smithy Almighty then. And now up to the line. It's a 9.7 gap then. So he's gained a second and a half. Approximately, if my maths is correct, to Chlorine Pilot then on 1 lap then. He's going to have, 9 laps to go then. It's going to be so close then. If he can keep up this pace then he will be on him then with the final lap then just about underway. And wow, this could be a photo finish indeed. There's Mr. Elite and Reflection battling then. Reflection up into P4 and gets himself back ahead then of the Alpine then of Mr. Elite. Then Stephen Anthony then holding down P6 for the time being. Then Serious Mushroom is on a charge and will try and get himself into the penalty range, I think, then of the Williams car ahead. Then Housey might be able to do the same, but those tyres then for Housey, then similar to Chlorine Pilot, then is starting to drop off. I would imagine then at this point of the race, then if he can hold them on to the end of the Grand Prix, it will be fantastic for both Kick Saubers then, but we'll wait and see how it's going to unfold. Then Goddard's then up into P9 and now within DRS then of the Kick Machine, heading into lap 27 now as well then. Reflection's on a bit of a charge here and could get himself back in the fight then for a podium place then, albeit without the penalty situation, that is. So we'll have to wait and see as we go through then into lap 28 now for the race leader then. 8.4 seconds, so the gap has started to sort of stagnate slightly there. It's still much in favour of Smithy Almighty then, but it's not as much as the previous lap now as the medium compound tyres start to fade a bit slightly then as well. Then Goddard's up into P8 then passing Housey then into the final chicane, I should say. Then now lap 28 begins as well then with Goddard's powering away with that DRS then in towards turn 1. Fantastic. Mr. Elite then holds on then to the charging Reflection. Then Reflection is all over the back almost then of Dynamo Dan. Then he could be able to get himself into that 1 second window there. He had a bit of a mishap then over the curb then into sector 2, and that's cost him a couple of attempts there as well. Then my goodness me, then Housey then has lost out just about to the DRS then of Goddard. And those medium compound tyres working well still for the Mercedes driver then. Maybe those hard compound tyres not working so well then for the Kick Saubers as we go through then into lap 28. Then Smithy then 7 seconds behind. He needs to get himself closer then, and we'll have a look at the penalty situation then in just a jiffy. We'll have a look at it now, actually, why not? 3 seconds then for the top two. Then Reflection's got 6 seconds then. Mr. Elite's got 3, so he'll be able to get himself back up into P4 then as it stands then, even if he doesn't pass Reflection at this point. And heading into the final chicane, then looks like he was trying to go for it as well, but not quite. Then Stephen Anthony then with 3 seconds, then he would be safe from Serious Mushroom as it stands. But if Mushroom can find a couple of more tenths, then potentially we can see him get himself into P6 here as well. Then we'll wait and see. Then as we've got Goddard's in with 3 seconds as well. Then he's trying to scamper away from Housey, and if he can get that 3 second gap then to the Kick Sauber behind, he will be able to keep hold of that P8 position. Then Ballant has passed Stead. Has he? Where is he? Yes, he has then into the final chicane and up into P10 now for Ballant as well. Then good stuff indeed. Stead then down to P6. Then he's got 12 seconds. Then same for Marvsky as well. Then Marvsky's on a charge. Then up into P11 here and back through. Then goes the Mercedes driver as well. Then Decanco 3 seconds as well. Then I think Decanco is just within range potentially of holding on to maybe gaining a couple of places then on Marvsky and Stead as well. Then potentially Stead picks up another penalty unfortunately then as well. I've commentated Kirsten. I'm very sorry. It was not my intention to do that. I'm very sorry indeed. But there we go then. Vintage, sorry, not Vintage, sorry, Ray Lashton then has got 3 seconds. The same for Vintage as well. Then potentially there could be some movers and shakers then with the penalty situations later on in this Grand Prix. We'll find out soon. Out in front, Sam has picked up a penalty as well. And I'm not very good at not commentating cursing people, to be fair, but there we are. As Smithy Almighty then now 5 seconds the gap then with 6 laps to go technically then. Smithy Almighty could be within range on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Then this is going to be fantastic if he can get it in that window, that DRS window. Then 3 laps or 3 activation points, even if I can get me words out. 2 detection points around this lap then, so that could be a very much a nuisance. Not a nuisance, it's going to be very helpful indeed, as Marsky's had an issue then, and Marsky again has parked the car and retired on the circuit then. Oh my. There we go then. San then is going to get himself into the top 15. So good stuff indeed. Everybody who finishes the Grand Prix now, so long as they finish the Grand Prix now, you get a point. So that's good stuff indeed. Right then, 4 seconds, or just under 4 seconds now, the gap then between Smithy and the race leader of Chlorine Pilot. We'll wait and see then how it's going to fare then. Marsky out of the Grand Prix, pit and quit basically, on retiring on track. And Liam had a crash then at this point of the track. I think there at that wall then on a few laps ago. Then Winnie then into the pits and pit and quit. Then Styles then smashed it into the wall, and Rocket Lee then unfortunately just stopped on track. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if there was technical fault. Well, he said he put the brakes on then, didn't he? So yeah, unfortunately it's not looking good there as well as we go through then. Mr. Elite then, Dynamo Dan, Smithy and Stephen Anthony are your candidates for driver of the day. There are their penalty situations. There are their position change situations as well then. So, Stephen Anthony's gained 5 places then as well. Then potentially, we'll have to wait and see on penalty situations as well and what's going on there. Dynamo Dan then is holding on to a podium place, and he's gained 5 places then from his starting position as well. But he's under pressure from Reflection here. But of course, he doesn't need to worry too much, I don't think, about Reflection going past, really, does he? Because so long as he can hold on to the gap then, he can get himself back up into that P3 position then, with Reflection's penalties there as well then. So that was not all done and dusted just yet. Then Smithy Almighty has gained 3 places then, and could be challenging as San has... Why? He's pit and quit then. But he was guaranteed some points then. Unfortunately, only 14 drivers will score points then in this Grand Prix. As Smithy's got another 3-second time penalty. Reflections passing Dynamo Dan. Oh my. Anyway, so yeah, that's very odd. But yeah, I'm very confused. If you were P15, why you were pit and quit then with only 3 laps to go, because you were guaranteed at least a point then. But unfortunately, no point then for anybody who finishes P15 in this Grand Prix, as everybody in the bottom 6, unfortunately, is out of the Grand Prix and not going to be part of our plans then here in this last few laps, I should say, then, of this race as well then, as we head through then into lap 32 then. 3 laps to go after this one then, but the penalties now, I think, for Smithy are going to be costly then, because he's got 3 seconds extra now than Chlorine Pilot as well here. I'm not quite sure if San has realised the errors of his ways there, but yeah, my goodness me. Well, that's a shame. As we go through then into lap 32, then unfortunately for Smithy, then he might have confined himself to P2 then after that escapade then over the track limits there as well then, unless of course Chlorine Pilot picks up a penalty as well. Then everybody bar Sirius, Mushroom, Housey and Ballot then have not got any penalties there, so everyone else racking up the penalties as we go through then into lap 33. 1.4 seconds the gap then between the top 2 now, and Smithy then has closed in massively then. The only other factor that could play a big difference in this Grand Prix result then as well then is if Chlorine Pilot's tyres give up then, and potentially we might see a puncture then, and potentially the same for Housey as well, which would be a big shame indeed for both Kick Saubers of course. But maybe Smithy's going to be praying for that, to be fair, but we'll have to wait and see as we go through then into sector 2 now, and Smithy then now within DRS of course then, but will he be able to get himself through and gain himself 3 seconds is the other question. But he's only going to have 2 laps to do it really, isn't he, because that's going to be quite a margin to try and make up then, unless Chlorine Pilot has some sort of issue as well. Yeah, everyone asking to be banned there as well then. Stephen Anthony, I'll vote for you as driver of the day then, but of course get your votes in the comment section for whoever you want to vote for of course. But there we are then. Vintage has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane then, which is again a bit odd, but nonetheless, he's into the box then for the soft compound tyres this time. He might just come out ahead then of these 2 as well, which is going to be good news indeed for Vintage. But here they come then on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix then. Smithy Almighty then is trying to get his nose through into turn 1 then. He's going to go for the move then down the inside. He's got the move, I think, has he? Yes, he has. And there is Vintage just in front of us as well then. My goodness me, then Vintage going for the fastest lap point as well on the soft compound tyres. Then here is Vintage, and he's got himself on, he's still on the lead lap now, which is fantastic news indeed, because of course he needs to try and keep himself on that lead lap to make sure that this next lap, then after this one, his out lap is going to be valid, of course. Yes, we'll wait and see then. Chlorine Pilot then is just about stuck with the DRS then of Smithy Almighty then, but he's now lost out then, heading on to this back straight then, this short back straight then, heading into sector 3 momentarily now. Will Chlorine Pilot's tyres hold on then? They just need to do one more lap then at the end of this one, that is, to get himself to the checkered flag then. And if Smithy Almighty then is not 3 seconds ahead of Chlorine Pilot then at the checkered flag then on the next lap, he will be able to get himself the victory back then with the penalty situation then for the Ferrari as well. But my goodness me, we will wait and see, as here comes Smithy Almighty. He's on a charge then, is Smithy. Then he's going to get himself a 1.5 second gap then in the next lap, the final lap of this Grand Prix. Then can he do it is the question. Then Vintage is underway then for his fastest lap as well, or his fastest lap attempt I should say then. He is going to go through then into the first couple of corners then. 1.5 seconds still the gap then between the top two then. The hard compound tyres holding on this reflection, picks up a 3 second bonus. That's going to cost him a podium place then to Dynamo Dan here as we head into sector 2 then for the final time of this Grand Prix. And there we are then. Smithy Almighty then is trying to eke that gap out, but it's not going to be good enough, I don't think, for Smithy at this stage of the race then. Unfortunately then, that penalty is going to be costly indeed then, and demote him back down to P2 then as it stands. But of course there's still one sector to go in this Grand Prix, and anything can happen in Formula 1 racing, and it usually does, doesn't it? As we go through then into lap 35 then, into that hairpin for the final time then. 1.8 seconds the gap then for Smithy then. He needs to find 1.2 then on with this one back straight then. He's going to have a lot of power indeed then. He needs to have a lot of power indeed to get himself back through. Then 2 seconds the gap then. He needs one more second, but I don't think it's going to be enough then. Vintage is powered away then in the Haas then in the soft compound tyres. Smithy Almighty then into the final chicane then for the final time. Then Smithy Almighty comes through then, but it's going to be Chlorine Pilot then who's going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. Then he crosses the line then in second place, but takes the win on track then with the penalty situation as well there. Fantastic stuff indeed then for the Kick Sauber driver, then holding on then with 1 second to spare as well then with Smithy then P2 in the end. Then Dynamo Dan then rounds off the podium places then for Williams as well. Good stuff indeed. He had wing damage there somehow as we go through then into the final lap. But Dynamo Dan doesn't care about that now. He's got himself onto the podium places once again. Then Reflection P4 for the Aston Martin. A great recovery then as well then for the Aston Martin driver. Then Mr. Elite P5, Stephen Anthony P6, then Serious Mushroom P7. Goddard's then with a fantastic result. Oh no, he's gone Housey then in P8, I should say. Then well done indeed to Housey as well. But Goddard's then with a fantastic result nonetheless as well. P9 then Real Aston Army is going to cross the line then in P10, but I think it's going to be passed by Ballot then, and Real Ashton then finishes P11 in the end. Then instead P12 Decanco P12 then. Good stuff indeed from both Red Bulls there as well. Instead P13 Vintage will cross the line and get himself 2 points then for 14th, and of course a point for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well then. So well done indeed to Vintage for soldiering on in this Grand Prix. 3 points go his way then, and well deserved. And there we are then, here in bronze. We're done in Canada then. I think a few drivers then are going to be very happy with that as well then, as am I, because I can go to bed now then and finally rest my voice. But there we are then. This is going to be the classification, and there are the podium celebrations for the Canadian Grand Prix. Round 8 of Bronze Season 10 is completed here now with both the, there is podium celebrations going underway. We'll have a Kick Sauber then, P1. Woo! Chlorine Pilot then wins the race. Smithy Almighty in P2 then for Ferrari. Then Dynamo Dan in P3 for the Williams team. I forgot what team it was. But there we are. Right then, I need to do the driver of the day and the to driver of the day and what have I got to do? The classification, and then I can go to bed. But there are the podium celebrations, and we'll have a quick interview then in just a moment after we've gone through the classification here. And here is the classification then. So Chlorine Pilot wins the Grand Prix then from P2 on the grid. Then Smithy in P2 overall after starting P5. Then Dynamo Dan in the final podium place then for Williams. Then Reflection P4, Mr. Elite P5, Stephen Anthony P6, Serious Mushroom in P7, Hello Housey in P8, Goldars P9, then Ballant P10, Real Ashton in P11, then Decanco P12, Stead P13. Vintage then rounds off the points paying positions then because San pit and quit. Then unfortunately Marsky also pit and quit. Liam then had a crash there as well. Then Winnie pit and quit. Rocket Lee got disqualified. Then Styles also crashed into a wall. And that's the order for the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll crack on then with some lovely interviews, hopefully with the some of our podium sitters. Then Dynamo Dan, then you got yourself a final podium place there as well. Then in the end, after that Grand Prix, did you think a podium was on the cards after that qualifying session?
Absolutely not. I think before the race I said I'd be happy with anything in the top 10. So if you'd have said I'd have got third position at the start of the race, I'd have snapped your hand off.
And it was a pretty hard-fought race there as well, it seemed, at various points as well throughout the field. Well, you're just trying to take it easy and keep out of the danger there? Because it seemed like a lot of people losing their heads throughout that Grand Prix.
Yeah, especially at the start, it was quite close. There was a lot of people bumping. So I just stuck behind and waited for people to knock themselves out the track. And I think in the long run, it paid off.
And like I said, a podium for yourself still keeps you in the lead, I think, of the championship for the time being. I believe. Trying to do the maths at the moment now, but my head's already fried. But let's just say you're keeping in the lead of the championship. I think Smithy then has jumped up into a close contender as well. Then with that P2 tonight in the end. What's your thoughts then on your championship rivals closing in on you as you go through then into round 9?
I mean, I can't wait for someone else to take the championship position, so I can have less stress and pressure.
Fair enough. Good stuff. Congratulations then, Dynamo Dan, then for a fantastic race result here tonight. And P3 then in the Williams, then rounding off Canada then for bronze as well. We will jump on to Smithy Almighty then. Smithy Almighty then P2 tonight in the end there. We'll get on to the final stint there, because that was fantastic as well then to watch. But from the beginning of the get-go on that race then, you were sort of P5, P4 or thereabouts then. And there were a few mishappenings, let's just say that, for some of your rivals around you in that first stint or so. But what did you think in that first stint then? How it was going to play out then, or did you have any premonitions in that race?
I saw a couple of moments, like you say, where I knew there was some trouble or a bit of drama happening up ahead. So I knew I was going to be one of them races where I just had to hopefully try and bide my time. So at the end there, that was a little bit difficult to know what to do. But yeah, that first bit, that was just a matter of staying on track, trying to just keep chucking in some good lap times and not necessarily worry too much about the position to begin with.
And as the race went on then, of course, a lot of your, as I said with Dynamo Dan as well, a lot of your rivals sort of fell by the wayside there, didn't they? But you kept it steady then, kept on picking up the positions in it. And in that final stint, as we got on to lap 21, lap 22 roughly, when you put the medium compound tyres on, the gap was about 16.5 seconds to Chlorine Pilot then. At the time he came out of the pit lane, did you think the gap was going to be doable then? Did you think you could get the lead back?
Yeah, to begin with, I thought no chance, because I was looking, I think I was taking 4 attempts a lap out of him to begin with. So first of all, I thought there was no chance. I thought to myself he'd played it perfectly by staying out. But then, yeah, after I started to see the lap time starting to fall a bit more, I started thinking, oh, there is a bit of a chance here. But unfortunately, I let myself down with another penalty. But I have got a couple of warnings that I'll probably have looked at as well. So, but yeah, no, that was difficult at the end. I knew I had to just keep again putting in them lap times, make use of the clean air that I did have, and the extra tyre life, and yeah, it helped me catch him up.
And like you said, fantastic pace in that final stint, and then to get within the fight then as well. Then that last penalty was costly indeed, then wasn't it? But like I said, you had the fight all the way to the final lap, then the final flag, and it was just unfortunate with the penalty situation there as well, wasn't it? But what's your thoughts then? Of course, now you're closing in then on your rivals ahead of you then in terms of Dynamo Dan and Reflection, both outscoring them tonight. Do you think you're going to be in the top of the fight then for the championship then going into round 9 and onwards?
I'd like to think I'm definitely going to be in play, but I say it every week. There's so many good drivers in here that's impossible to say. I think me and Dan was speaking before the race, and we both kind of said that we're not. If we get a top 10 finish, we'd be happy with it, sort of thing. So, because we know how much other talent there is in here, and I mean, we've got the looks of the reserve as well, Chlorine Polar, who's pretty quick as well. So. Although he's not fighting for the championship, he can take points. And but no, that was good. I definitely hope to be there come the end of the season.
Fantastic stuff, and well done indeed then to both our podium sitters tonight, and well done to Chlorine Pilot as well, our race winner, who unfortunately hasn't joined us, but there we go. But we'll crack on then. Next up, I think we're in Austria then for bronze in a week's time, of course, for gold and silver as well then from Sunday. But tomorrow night we've got the reverse 100% track at Silverstone, so that's going to be very interesting stuff indeed. Stay tuned then for that tomorrow from 7:30 p.m. then. We'll see you soon.